Hi guys, welcome back. In my last video, I showed you how to import devices from LibreNMS into NetBox using a plugin I found on GitHub. And then I created a Python script that automated the plugin that was able to get all the devices for a site and then automatically import the interfaces, the cables, and the IP address, and then also set the IP address as the primary for that device. In this video, what I would like to do is get information from the actual switches regarding port information. So for example, right now we don't know mode, if it's a trunk port or an access port. If the port is a voice VLAN, if it's a part of a port channel. Tagged VLANs would be if it's a trunk port. Untagged VLANs, if it's an access port, what the VLAN would be. And then, as a bonus, let's just say we want to get the status of the interface, if it's up or down or admin down or whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to show you is how I'm able to do this. This is a high-level diagram of the initial steps it will take. So my switch sync is the brains. It decides what to sync and then what to do with the data, and it runs every 15 minutes on the cron job. Next is my pyATS MCP server. This is a simple web server that's listening for instructions. This is the server that will connect to the switches, run the commands, and then disconnect. So the one issue I initially had was how can I connect to multiple devices at the same time to run these commands to get the information into NetBox into a timely manner. Initially, it would log into one device, run the command disconnect, log into the second device, and so on and so forth. So here we're using something called pcall function from pyATS. This allowed me to do batch processing where it does multi-threading, where it's able to connect to multiple devices at the same time. I was able to get much better results when we're talking about hundreds of devices. So the next function I want to look at is my worker gets sync data function. So what this does, it connects to the device, it runs several commands. So in this case, I'm doing my running config, CDP neighbor, LDP neighbor, show interface description. So it's able to run all these commands within the same SSH session. And then towards the end of this function, if the device is offline, it will show us failed. So if I have several devices and two failed, it does not stop the script. It'll just mark it as it was not able to connect, and then finally it'll disconnect. So once it has this information, it'll return it as a JSON object back for processing. So now that we have all the live data, now the switch sync data is going to process that data and then send that data to NetBox to update if there is an update. The only thing I want to mention here is this function execute updates in chunks. So this is, for example, if a device has over 100 updates, it will do it in chunks of 50 that I've set here manually. It'll do the first 50, then commit, and then do the second 50. Let me show you how it works. So as you recall, I'll just show it here. So we have a switch. All we have is the interface information. We have the cables, and we also have the management IP. And we're going to run some connecting to my Docker container. That's going to run the switch sync file. So the first thing it's going to do, so right here where it says processing site for in batches of 22, that's 22 sites in NetBox. Currently I only have 2 sites, so that doesn't matter. It's going to get all the switches for both sites. So in this case, there's only 3 switches between both sites. And then it's going to start processing. So here, processing switch. So basically it connects to the switch, returns the information. And then now, as we can see, switch site A has updates. So now it's updating NetBox. Switch B has no updates, therefore there's no updates. But as you can see here, it had 53 updates. It sent the first 50, it was successful. Then it sent the second chunk, which is just 3 updates. and it was successful. So what that looks like on the log file as far as connecting, let me show you. So let me just let the logs go. Okay, stop. So here, again, it's multi-threading, so it's not one at a time. So here it's going to connect to all the different devices. So here is switch A, the ISR 1100, and then switch B, and then they all say they connected, and then they all said they're finished, and then they disconnect, and then it gives me a summary. It says it processed 3, successful 3, failed 3. Again, if something failed, it does not stop it from sending the data back, the JSON object back to the sync switch to be processed. So now if I go to my NetBox instance and I refresh, I should see some information. So here I have my VLAN information. If I run it again, initially I have to run it twice because that's just the way I have the script right now. So it pulls in the initial VLAN information. So here I have the first 4 ports in VLAN 110. But then when I run it again, it's going to give me the interface information here. Everything on VLAN 1 is, there's no configuration, it's also disabled. So then let's check again. It's sending the chunks with switch A. Again, it has 53 updates. All right, so it's finished. So if I refresh, so now I have the interface information. So as of right now, I disabled the 50-minute job to run. Again, it could run at any interval, 24 hours. I'm just doing 15 hours for right now because it's part of my AI project. If you're interested to see what I'm doing with NetBox and AI and MCPs, go look at my first video. So now I have the actual interface, what's live on the switch. So I don't have to log into the switch to see what the status of the port is. This sort of syncing is only supposed to be temporary, meaning you have an existing environment, you're trying to basically use NetBox as your source of truth, meaning you make changes in NetBox and then it'll push the changes out. There's no need to log into the switch directly anymore. But how do you get to that point? And this is what helps to facilitate that until everyone agrees and everyone, loses access and everyone's on board. Like, this is the path forward. This is how you can keep your NetBox up to date. Let me quickly show you another device that just has a little more, it has a trunk on there just to show you the difference. So in this one, it has access ports. Where's my access port? Yeah, so this one is an access port. Followed by Philip Hughes, VLAN 100. And then port G010, it's a trunk port. And then it has 5 VLANs. And then these are my 5 VLANs that are tagged in there just to show what it looks like. Thanks for watching. I think that's it for now. I'll have another video out next week. All my videos will be based upon my first video, basically just showing different functions of it. Basically MCP, AI, DevOps, making API calls, that sort of thing. Thanks again. If you like the video, like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one.